2:27 to go. McNabb dropping. It's intercepted at the 10 to the 20.
He's gone.
Going coast to coast. Rodney Barber to the 50 to the 40. Barber to the 30. Nobody's going to touch him. Rodney Barber 10, 5. The Super Bowl, and they're trying to win it for us. Third down, 18, dropping Gannon, looking Gannon, throws up the middle. It's intercepted at the 30. Derek Brooks 30. Brooks to the 25, 20. Derek Brooks all the way. There it is. The dagger's in. We're going to win the Super Bowl. And almost over the top. Second effort. He's got it. We think. They think they can.
There it is.
That's a great triumph. He's sacked at the 41-yard line. That time the blitz pays off. And down and 10. Blitz coming. Heineke flushed it. He's sacked at the 41-yard line. That time the blitz pays off. And Levante David has a quarterback sack. Here's the snap. Play action fake. Brady looking. Throws toward the end zone. Caught ball. Touchdown Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Rob Gronkowski's got 2 today. Chiefs dropping to throw Mahomes. We run a stunt, and we sack him at the 50-yard line. Wow, he's clobbered. Fumble the football, recovered by the line. There's the snap. Mahomes running to his right. Look out, he may run. Mahomes directly. No, throw the end down. Battle intercepted. Picked off in the end zone. Bucs are going to beat the Chiefs. We're the champions of the world, and we still have a minute 33 to go. Devin White, what a great second season. Here's the snap. Brady dropping, looking. Brady throws. Caught ball. It's caught. Touchdown Tampa Bay. Rachaad White. Touchdown Buccaneers. Fire the cannons. Bucs tie the game at 16. Down goal the snap. Brady's going to throw. Looking. Throws a dart. That's caught. Touchdown Tampa Bay. Chris Godwin. He makes the catch right beneath the goalpost. Mayfield has time, cocks the arm, runs the ball. He's going to run to the 30. He runs to the 35. He has a first down. Wow. Iffy ankle. Bruised ribs. He's got guts. The 6 guys up front. Bucs digging 2-point try. Push. And I don't know if he got it. They have not indicated yet. He did not get it in. In motion, Shepard to the left. We fake the end around, hand the ball off, running to the right. Irving inside the 10 to the 5. 3-2-1. Touchdown Tampa Bay. Bucky Irving takes it to the house. Second down, 10. Rachaad White now in the backfield. Baker Mayfield throws the sideline route downfield. Caught ball to the 5. Touchdown Tampa Bay. Mike Evans does it again. Fire the cannons, Bucs. Sideline, incomplete pass. Bucs take the ball away. On downs. Now in motion. Mike Evans strips over to the left slot. Baker Mayfield shotgun. They know what we're going to do. Baker Mayfield looks, throws the ball. Caught ball. Evans. He's got it to the 40-yard line. 1,000 plus. Mike Evans. 11 seasons in a row. How about them Buccaneers?
What is going on, Buccaneers Nation? I hope you guys are doing well out there on this Monday. It is almost August. That is crazy. Feels like the summer just started. But the good thing is football season is right around the corner. We have about a week of training camp in the books, and I have a loaded show for you guys today. Unfortunately, we got some bad news for you. Some injuries, if you haven't heard. The injury bug is plaguing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's insane. I'm going to be joined by my guest shortly in a little bit, but real quickly, I want you guys to go and like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, the Frozen Pirate Podcast. We're going to be doing a free jersey giveaway. That is going to be next week. So make sure you tune in. I will give the full details probably at the end of the show. Like I said, free jersey giveaway to kick off the season. I told you I was going to do it. So this is going to be the second free jersey giveaway that we do. The first winner was Nick Green. So make sure you guys stay tuned. You have to be subscribed to the YouTube channel. Also follow me on Twitter/X, whatever they're calling it. And on Instagram, the Frozen Pirate Podcast. Without further ado, I'd like to bring in my guest here. I'm sure you guys seen him at training camp. He's got a lot of good content. Mr. Daniel Morales of Fear the Bay. What is going on, brother? How you doing?
What's up, man? I'm doing good, man. Living life, man. How you doing?
Like I said, living the dream one nightmare at a time, but even nightmares are dreams too, man. We got a lot to talk about in this episode, man, and I promise the audience we won't bore them too much. We got a lot of exciting things here on the Frozen Pirate Podcast, the free jersey giveaway coming up next week. But tell the audience a little bit about yourself, where they can find you, where they can follow you, because you, like I said, you have some really good content out there. Let them know where they can find you,
I
man.
appreciate that, man. I appreciate you having me on the podcast. It's the first podcast I've been on, so I appreciate the collaboration here. Daniel Morales, I'm the host of Fear the Bay. I don't want to plug much. I just want to say how much I appreciate you having me on here today, man. Thank you so much.
Man, it's your platform now, man. Like I said, when I see good content, I like to push good content out there, especially when it comes to for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and stuff like that. People are doing the right thing and people have good stuff, man. I want that stuff to get out there, man. It's all good, man. So,
Thank you
like I
as
said,
well.
let them know where they can find you, man. You're on X, you're on
Yeah.
Instagram.
So, X and Instagram is the same at Daniel M_TB. YouTube Fear the Bay. But again, I'm just appreciative to be on this podcast, man. I appreciate you, Louis.
Oh, man, I appreciate you. Last minute, it was like a last minute thing. I'm like, he's probably not gonna have time. But then you came in clutch, man. You're like, yeah, absolutely, I'll do
No
it. So
problem.
that goes a long way with me. But without further ado, let's get right into it. David Walker tears his ACL, brother. Major
Horrible.
blow to the Bucs defense, in my opinion, because this is a kid who had a fantastic career in college. Were you there for that injury? Did you see it happen? Like,
Yeah.
take us
Yeah.
through that.
Yeah.
What was going on? That was early too in the morning, right?
Yeah, so this is day 3 of Bucs training camp. The Buccaneers, this was towards the end of practice also. The Buccaneers were entering their like 2-minute drill, just final, end of practice stuff here. They started, so this was a run play that he got hurt on. Bucky Irving was running to, it would be from the offense's perspective, the left of the field. And it was a minimal gain, like 3-5 yards. It wasn't a big run play.
Right.
But then I turn to the right and I see the rookie David Walker on the ground. And people start gathering around, at first, honestly, I didn't think the injury was major. I thought, it was like a soft tissue injury, some kind of like hamstring or calf, because the trainers come over. He's holding his calf, his hamstring, that area there. He's not holding his Achilles. And then he's able to get up on his own and he walks off with the trainers at his side. So, I'm thinking it's really hot out here in Tampa. I know you're in Massachusetts, but yesterday in Tampa, it hit 100 degrees for the first time since 1890. So it's extremely hot. When I was out there, I was getting scorched. I was in the heat, the sun, direct sun from like 8:20 to like 11:10. It was insane. So I'm just thinking, this is a guy from Central Arkansas. He's not used to the Florida heat. He probably didn't hydrate correctly. And this is some kind of, like Mike Evans every year kind of suffers some hamstring injury. This happens in training camp. So I'm thinking, this is a minor injury. I looked this morning and Peter Report and Rick Stroud report, this is more than a calf injury or hamstring. He's out for the season. This is a torn ACL, man. It's devastating.
It's tough. Yeah, that's definitely a tough blow for this defense because I feel like I've been saying this for a little bit, is that, I feel like Todd Bowles is kind of taking a page from the Eagles on their playbook and what they do on defense with the rotation, but it's going to be his version of it because you think about it, you had Chris Braswell, you had Walker, you have Hassan Reddick, Anthony Nelson, Yaya Diaby. You want to keep these guys fresh. You want to keep a good rotation going, and that helps the pass rush. And losing Walker, a guy who had 10.5 sacks in his last year of
his senior year.
Yeah, and I was excited, and he's all around. I feel terrible because all around he's such a good kid. He's so humble. He fits that Buccaneers locker room,
Yeah.
And is it a big blow to the defense? Absolutely, because I think this kid could have really made an impact on this defense. And a lot of people expect these kids to come out here and have, breakout seasons like 14 sacks, 13 sacks. I think even if we got 4.5 sacks, I think that's a major success. But this is definitely a blow. Do you think this is going to affect the team moving forward? Do you see?
Oh yeah,
man. Do you see a little bit of a struggle here now? Because last year, man, we were plagued by the injury bug, and I stuck up for Bowles a lot. A lot of people wanted him out of here. Not myself. I said, for a coach who just lost 2 of his starting wide receivers, 1 for the year, 1 for 3 games, technically 3 games. And then you lose all those players on defense. And to still put up – we never got blown out, like Sammer said on the last episode. We never got blown out. Those games were very close. Why would you want to fire this guy? It just we were plagued with injuries, and it kind of seems like here that we're being plagued with injuries again. Tristan Wirfs, 4 games. Now Chris Godwin, I don't think he's going to play until maybe late October. That's my opinion. And now this. How do you think they adjust to this?
So it's going to definitely hurt the depth, man. This is something that they were going to rely on him. The Buccaneers were excited about him. The fans were excited about him. Everybody was excited about him. There's a stat that I found really interesting. So he had 55 pressures last year, and he had a 21% pass rush win rate, which 21%, that doesn't sound high. But when you look at it in the NFL, TJ Watt and Myles Garrett had a 22% pass rush win rate. So I'm not saying he was going to be a Myles Garrett. I'm not saying he's going to be a TJ Watt, but he's a guy who knows how to get to the quarterback. And what has been the struggle over the last few years for the Buccaneers, not getting to the quarterback. Remember JTS, he always gets close to the quarterback and never get to the quarterback.
I had a name for him. All gas, no brakes for JTS. All gas, no brakes. I was excited when we got him. And I saw the potential. The first couple of games, I seen him almost getting to the quarterback. And I'm like, hey, because I looked at him, not to cut you off, but I like to tell this story. I looked at him, I was just like, wow, he reminds me of his built like Simeon Rice. He's long, lanky. He can get to the quarterback. He just blew right by the quarterback. That's why I gave him the nickname All Gas, No Brakes, because he just couldn't stop. He could not stop. But he's with Cleveland now.
He reminds me of, you remember Noah Spence?
Oh, absolutely.
Both physical specimens. They're extremely athletic. Just never worked out, man.
Could never wrap up the quarterback. Yep.
Nope.
Yep.
But yeah, man, he's David Walker. He's a guy who knows how to get to the quarterback, man. And now he's playing Division II football, and not the same, obviously, as D1. But he's a guy. He's twitchy. He has a really stocky build. I forget who said it, but somebody said he's built like a refrigerator. So he's just he's smaller for a pass rusher at 6'1". But he knows how to get to the quarterback, and the Buccaneers are going to miss out on that now. And a lot of pressure now falls to Chris Braswell now. So he's entering second year. Had a very quiet year for a second round pick, only 1.5 sacks. So a lot of pressure falls on Chris Braswell now. In day 2 of training camp, he had 2 back-to-back sacks. Now that's in shorts and t-shirts. It's not in pads. The Buccaneers put on pads today. And Todd Bowles has stated, in t-shirt and shorts is, obviously it's not real football, but the edge rushers have an advantage because, it's underwear football. The edge rushers have an advantage because the offensive lineman can't even really grab you. So, he looked good in t-shirt and shorts, but what he's going to look like fully, when we go forward, when the pad's on preseason, when the season starts, a lot of pressure is put on Braswell, and I hope he's ready for it.
Yeah, me as well, myself as included, just because a buddy of mine that I do the show with on Wednesdays, sometimes we do a show called Around the NFL because we like to inform Buccaneer fans other stuff that's going on. We do a show here called we're going to start doing a show here called State of the South as well. But we talk about a lot of that stuff. But I got to ask you, because the way the defense was last year, they were plagued with injuries. But and I always tell the audience, I said, if you really want to get a feel for this team, you have to watch the preseason. The preseason is very
Yeah.
important just because it tells you if you have depth. Like a team like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, let's face facts here. They're a favorite to win the Super Bowl, in my opinion. They have the team, but do we have the depth? And that's where the preseason comes in. And I told people last year, I said, hey, I love this offense. The offense is going to carry us, but I feel like the defense is going to be kind of like playing catch up. And then the worst thing possibly happened was all the injuries, because when I watched that preseason, man, I didn't like the depth that I saw. And I'm like, I hope, God forbid, there's no injuries. And sure as hell, we had injuries. And a main part of those problems were in the secondary. So do you think the secondary is going to hold up this year? A lot of infusion of youth there with the rookies. How you liking the secondary? Because I kind of have a little bit of a bold prediction for that secondary.
Yeah, before that, I just touch on your point about the depth. Last year, Todd Bowles, when he was asked, I believe the question was like, what do you see the weakness of, this was before week one, what do you see the weakness of this team being? And he stated the depth. And so you're 100% correct. That was a problem. The starters all good. But once those guys got hurt, who was behind them? You had
Shaky.
Tyreek Thunderberg out there playing
Yeah.
cornerback, man. So yeah, the secondary, a lot of new additions. I like both of the additions. I like Jacob Parrish a little bit better than Benjamin Morrison. I think he's going to make, at least in the short term, the more immediate impact on this team. He's been out there taking the starting nickel reps, so he's gonna likely be the starting nickel for this team. JJ Roberts was working today as the second string nickel. They've been having Christian Izien as the second team safety. So it looks like it is Jacob Parrish's job to keep, and he's a small guy. He's not
tough,
the
though.
traditional. Yeah, man, that's it.
Tough.
He's not the Carlton Davises of the world, or the Jamel Deans or Zion McCollum. He's a smaller guy, but man, he will stick his nose in there. He will tackle you behind the line of scrimmage. He's not scared, man. If you
I
put
think
on
he
that
was a
field,
wrestler too. I think that's where he gets that aggression from.
I didn't know that,
So,
man. Yeah.
yeah, I think he was a wrestler too in school. So I think that's where he gets that like feistiness. And I actually, when we were doing the draft coverage, we're gonna get to Abuka in a little bit, but when they picked up Parrish, I was just like, all right, I see where Todd Bowles is going with this.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I like that pick because he's physical. He can get a little handsy sometimes, but I mean, he's tough, and he, like you just said, he can stick his nose and punch out a football. He plays a lot bigger than what his size states,
Oh yeah,
if you
definitely.
will. So, and I've been seeing that he's been making a couple of plays too. A lot of people have
Yeah.
been ranting about him. So for me, I like the way the secondary's gone as far as depth. And one guy that people are not really talking about too much is Bryce Hall. Bryce Hall was
Oh
a
yeah,
guy.
yeah.
Yeah, Bryce Hall was a guy last year that I was really excited about on that secondary. Unfortunately, he broke his leg, and he was
Yeah.
playing pretty damn good up
Mhm.
to the point of where he broke his leg. The secondary was very shaky last year, but with the returning of Bryce Hall, and then you have the infusion of youth with the rookies, do you think they can bounce back? Do you think this secondary can be something that's a strong suit for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Oh yeah, man. It's a case every year. Jamel Dean gets injured, man. You never wish any player gets injured. I hope he stays healthy the entire year. But it's like at this point, it's inevitable. It's likely going to happen. And behind him though, even if he gets injured, you have Benjamin Morrison, the second round
Right.
pick, to step up and come in. And you touched on that Bryce Hall. He's on the team. I really like that signing. They signed him for, I believe, like around the veteran minimum. I think that's a
Right.
very sneaky good move, a really good depth move. This is a player who I believe they tried to trade for over the past few years. They couldn't get him from the Jets. They finally got him last year in free agency, and early on he breaks his leg, like he said. But this team has a lot of depth now. I don't think there's going to be a point where you see Josh Hayes or Tyreek Thunderberg out there playing corner like you saw last year, man. It's
Yeah.
going to be a really good, really, really good. And you think about even a guy like Christian Izien, just secondary is very versatile. They have a lot of depth. Safety, not as much as corner. I think
Mhm.
safety is the biggest concern for me in terms of depth. You have, of course, Antoine Winfield Jr., who honestly, he looks phenomenal, man. I saw him flying around out there day
Yeah.
one. He had
He
two
looks
picks
back. He
back to
looks he
back.
looks like the old Antoine, and
No,
I've
for
been
real.
saying that.
Yeah,
I'm excited
yeah.
about that. I honestly, I'm gonna have to disagree with you there though, because I think that safety position, I think it's gonna be a strong point for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A lot of people are not thinking that Shiloh is gonna make the team, man, but what I see with Shiloh, and especially Tyreek. The core group of safety, the core group of Tyke Smith. I'm sorry, Tyreek. I'm thinking about Tyreek Hill for a second. Tyke Smith, Shiloh Sanders, that little rotation, especially like with Shiloh. Look, if I don't think he gets a starting role, in my opinion. I think he can really make a huge impact wherever you put him on the field. I think he can make an impact on special teams. This kid's got a nose for the football, and like I said, he's a fan favorite already down there. Um, do you see him being a part of this 53-man roster? Or you think, because if he hits the practice squad, somebody's going to pick him up? So I'm asking you, what have you seen so far from Shiloh? Do you think he can make the 53-man roster here?
For me personally, I'm not the biggest fan of Shiloh Sanders.
Uh-oh.
He's a great guy. I'm going to go against you a little bit here. I have nothing, against him. He's the last player out there every single day in training camp, signing everybody's autographs, taking everybody's pictures. He's there like 30 minutes after practice. He's out there. For me, safety is a concern because you have Antoine Winfield, you have Tyke Smith, you have Christian Izing behind them. So the top three are good. But then you have, it's a little bit more, shaky. I like JJ Roberts a little bit more than Shiloh Sanders. Yeah. I know Todd Bowles likes him. He said he's as fast as a corner, but he can hit you like a safety. They really like him. They like his football intelligence. But I would have, those are my top four, JJ Roberts edging over Shiloh Sanders. And then if the Buccaneers wanted to keep five, like for special teams or something, it'll be Shiloh Sanders competing against a guy like Kayvon Merriweather, something like that. But, I could be wrong. But for me, I think that Shiloh Smith, I could get picked up, but I think he's most likely, in my opinion, going to be a practice squad player on this team. Now, that's just my opinion. I could be completely wrong, but that's just how I feel.
No, I respect that 100%. Like I said, I think he can make an impact for this team. He's a lot different than the rest of the family. I will say that. He's very humble. I'll give him that. One guy I'm going to make a bold prediction on, Zion McCollum. Do you think he's ready to break out as a top 10 corner? Because he's been going at it with Mike Evans back and forth in training camp from what I've seen. And we all know the saying, iron sharpens iron. I think this kid's poised to have a breakout year. He showed a lot of promise last year. He was on the field more than Jamel Dean. I think that's kind of Jamel. I like the fact that Jamel Dean has a lot of pressure on him this year because people tend to get comfortable. And I'm not taking shots at Jamel Dean. It's just that some players tend to get comfortable when they get paid. Now there's a lot of competition there. And I liked what Todd Bowles had to say. Hey, man, all these positions are open outside of a few of them. We know Mike's day one starter. We know Baker's day one starter. We know the offense is pretty much set in stone. But this defense, I'm very excited about this defense this year because guys like Zion McCollum, do you think he's going to be able to break out this year? Do you think he's going to have roughly the same year as last year? Or do you think he takes that next step this year?
Man, I hope he takes that next step. He's in the contract year. No, you want to make a lot of money. I would assume he wants to make a lot of money, man. But I think he's likely. I hope he's going to be a top 10 corner. I think you're going to get probably the same production you got last year from Zion McCollum. I hope he does a lot better. But even last year, he's a solid corner. I think he solidified himself as a true CB1 of this team. Obviously, with Jamel Dean having to compete and fight for his job, he's the CB2, if not Benjamin Morrison. But I think with Zion McCollum, you're going to get the same production you got last year. And that's honestly, it's not bad, though. I don't think it's bad. He's a solid corner, but I don't think he's going to be a top 10 corner. A top 15, yeah.
Right.
Top 12, maybe. But top 10, I'm not too sure about that. But let's see, man.
Yeah, I like to shoot high for these guys. I have high expectations for them. Because I see the film, and a lot of people call me a nerd for this, but I like watching the all-22s, and I seen a lot of good from him, and there was times where, unfortunately, he fell victim to, a depleted defense. I'd like to see how he would be when everybody's healthy, especially the rotation up front. That's
if this pass rush, what does Todd Bowles want to do? He wants to get away from playing the soft zone defense. And I don't think he's been doing that by design. I think if you don't have man-to-man corners, you can't play man-to-man defense. And if you're not rushing, that works in tandem. If the guys aren't getting to the quarterback, well, you're putting guys, man, in a lot of dangerous positions. But if you think about the top four real quick, Yaya Diaby, Hassan Reddick, in the middle, we got Kalijah Kancey, who I'm really excited about this season. Hopefully can stay healthy the entire way. And Vita Vea, who looks leaner. I know Joe Bucs fan took a few pictures of him today. He looks a lot leaner. So if those 4 guys can get to the quarterback effectively, that's going to help out, Zion McCollum. That could potentially make him, even a guy like Rondé Barber would admit that his play was improved because of that pass rush.
Oh yeah,
So if the pass rush is getting, the pass rush is getting to the quarterback, that's going to help out those guys, man. And hopefully, if they do, he is a top 10 corner. And I think that also helps out the rookies. If, Jamel Dean gets hurt and Benjamin Morrison has to go in, well, his job isn't that hard. If the Buccaneers are creating pressure, if they're getting to the quarterback, if they're just disrupting the quarterback's play, I think that helps out all those corners, all the safeties. Really, 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 they can have a really good year if the pass rush can. But again, the depth. But if those front 4 guys, those top 4 guys, I'm really excited to see. I think they're going to be a strong strength for this team.
absolutely. I'm expecting more of a physical defense because in all reality, like I said, I'm a diehard Bucs fan, but I try to tell the audience I'm a football realist first. Nobody was afraid of this Buccaneers defense last year. Nobody, unfortunately. And why would they be? It was times it still haunts me to this day. I don't know why I go back and watch that game against the Commanders, but that game shouldn't have went that way, and you see a rookie quarterback driving down the field for 7 minutes. You can't have that. They just couldn't get off the field. But again, injuries. Look at the Detroit Lions. They lost their best defensive player to injury. They were plagued with injuries. You're not going to go very far with injuries like that. It's almost like a miracle, a prayer and a miracle, especially when you're that banged up. But I do see a much improved Buccaneer defense. A guy that I really like. I've been saying this for a long time, even when he was a rookie. When Devin White was in there, I called for Savasier Dennis to start over Devin White. I said, I've had enough of Devin White. And this is coming from me, a guy who bought Devin White's jersey, who was a fan of Devin White. I actually compared him. I said, hey, I remember his first 2 seasons, he was phenomenal. I said, if he continues to play the way he plays, this guy's on pace to be one of the greats. And just, I don't know, just fell off. But Savasier Dennis, I was calling for Savasier Dennis to start over him because to me, Savasier is somebody that brings toughness and physicality to the defense. Like when he was in there last year, he was a thumper, man. Like he would hit. And that's why I like him and Shiloh in this kind of like the same rotation because both of those guys can really, really hit. Shiloh has a knack for the football. I've seen him punch it out a few times in college, but I'm really excited about this defense. I'm excited that they improved what they said they needed to improve. Like you have a lot of teams out there that say, hey, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And they don't, one being the Cowboys, they don't do it. We got Hassan Reddick. I had to take the shot. I had to. I have a Cowboys fan who watches. I had to take the shot. But this is a greatly improved Buccaneer defense. I still think the offense, in my opinion, is okay. They don't need to touch anything. I think Coach Grizz is going to pick up where Liam Cohen left off, in my opinion. I just still think this defense really needs to gel. And I'm going to tell you something right now. This defense can really create turnovers. And that's why the secondary, drafting the players that they did for the secondary, if they can create turnovers, this Buccaneer ball club could be on pace to be one of the best offenses we've seen, better than last year, in my opinion, because, again, they were a couple of turnovers away from actually winning more games. A lot of people are talking about Baker Mayfield. He should have been the MVP. He's not the MVP because the lack of wins. It's the wins and not going deep enough.
And the interceptions. He had 16. Yeah, that was 16. His only negative. That's most in the league, tied with Kirk Cousins at 16. You touched on the injury bug point. So I think the Buccaneers, and seeing them, out there, I was out there day 2 and day 3. The Buccaneers, they're flying around, man. They're extremely stacked. They're extremely talented. I think the only thing that's going to hold them back, I think they're a Super Bowl contender, by the way. I think the only thing that's going to hold them back is the injury bug, man. And if we're not into week 1 and you already see David Walker go down, we don't, is Tristan Wirfs going to be out for the first 4 weeks? And then maybe, that lingers a little bit more. Hopefully it's just the first 4 weeks. When is Chris Godwin coming back? I think the injury bug is going to be and you can't, it's just natural. You can't fight the injury bug. Yeah. You can't do
Last
anything.
year was probably one of the worst years I've seen for the injury bug, unfortunately. So, but yeah, you're right. It's just, I think that's the only thing that's really holding us back because it's the same offense as last year. It's the same group of talent. They added an absolute stud with Emeka Egbuka, and a lot of people were confused about that pick, and I understand why they made that pick.
Man.
Yeah, man, that kid, I kept telling people, a lot of people were upset with this pick. I'm like, listen, Chris Godwin's not going to be ready, and Todd Bowles told you what he was going to do. We're going to take the best player available, and he was the best player available for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the board. But before we get to Emeka Egbuka, how do you think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers rack up against teams like the Eagles? I mean, I know we own the Eagles for a while, but I've actually got the Buccaneers. So my prediction is Buccaneers and Ravens Super Bowl. I don't think anybody's stopping the Ravens out of the AFC.
Ravens
What
are
they
really
did in the
nice team.
draft, they greatly improved that defense in the draft. How do you think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers stack up to some of the powerhouses in the NFC and the AFC?
So you look at, I think Baker Mayfield talked about this too. He was on like the Travis Kelce podcast, and they can compete. They believe they can compete against anybody in the NFC. You look at the Lions; they lost their offensive coordinator. Ben Johnson goes over to the Chicago Bears. They lost their defensive coordinator. Went over to the New York Jets, who are going to face in Week 3. They lost their starting center, who was really good on their offensive line. The Eagles, I think Todd Bowles has the Eagles number. I think the Eagles were safe against the Eagles. The Washington Commanders, they beat us in that playoff game, but I think the Buccaneers can compete against them and beat them. I don't think they have a better roster overall than the Buccaneers. The Rams, they give me a little bit of hesitation. Not that they're super good. It just feels like Todd Bowles has never had the answer. Yeah, has never had the answer for Sean McVay. So they give me a little bit of hesitation there. The 49ers, same exact thing. You remember Brock Purdy's first game as a starter. What was that? The last year of Tom Brady, and they just came in and they made us, they made the Buccaneers look, horrible.
Seems
so
to be
those
a
are
trend
the
with these
teams,
new
man.
quarterbacks. Unfortunately, when that happens with the Bucs.
Any of the start, we made Daniel Jones look good. We
started the Kirk Cousins thing.
Oh
Remember
yeah.
a while back ago, I was actually in DC visiting a friend, and I'm wearing a Gerald McCoy jersey. And I was excited for the game. And I look at we were walking around. It was my girlfriend's first time in DC. I used to live out there for a couple of years, so I'm showing her around. I'm looking at my phone. I'm like, oh, we got this. Next thing you know, I'm seeing highlights. At the time, it was called Twitter. I'm seeing highlights of Kirk Cousins saying, "You like that?" And ever since that day, I just hated him. Just hated Kirk Cousins.
I have
he made him that
autographed
day.
Kirk Cousins card. And
wow.
I feel bittersweet about it, man, because of that specific incident where he's yelling, you like that, man. And after they just destroyed the Bucs, we made Kirk Cousins look really good, probably better than he possibly is.
He should be in jail right now for all the money he's robbed off franchises, man.
He's robbed the Atlanta Falcons. All these almost fully guaranteed contracts are mostly fully guaranteed contracts.
Not only that, he's made more. It's crazy, not to get off topic here, but it's crazy. He's actually made more money than Tom Brady in football.
Oh, I haven't seen it. Well, Tom Brady, he's more of a team player. I think a lot of quarterbacks, man, should go the route that Tom Brady did. Take a little bit less money and be able to sign more players. You look at a guy like Dak Prescott making $60 million a year. Trevor Lawrence, what is Trevor Lawrence making $55 million a year for? He hasn't.
That's a huge chunk of your cap, man.
Jordan Love making $53 million. I think a lot of these guys, if you think about like a Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, they take $20 million. You can survive. I'm telling you right, you can survive off of $20 million a year. You think about how many good players that their team can sign and help them win additional Super Bowls. I think so. I don't think anybody's gonna be able to reach Brady because he had that mindset. Everything was just about winning a Super Bowl, and like we won the Super Bowl in 2020. The next day, he's out there training again. So it's
arguably probably the best year of his career. I said it to this day. I've been in Massachusetts. I've watched Tom Brady's whole career, and I hated the first seasons with the Patriots. When he came to the Bucs, it was a much different story for me. I was the biggest Tom Brady fan. But I say to people out here, and I have these arguments all the time, man. I tell them, I'm like, listen, Brady had his best years with the Buccaneers. No way. I'm telling you, the stats don't lie.
He should have been the MVP, man.
Yeah, twice. Twice.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, he went 16-0. I'm like, but you guys lost in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm sorry. That's everything you've done. I get it. They broke the record with Randy Moss. It doesn't mean squat. You didn't win the Super Bowl, but statistic-wise, he had his best years with the Tampa. The first 2 years, the third year, I don't really count. That was a lot going on. Divorce, Botox, a lot of stuff going on there. You didn't report the training camp. You went away. That was very difficult to watch. And then you had Todd Bowles with a coaching staff that he inherited, and this was all basically on the fly. So I'm surprised they did what they did. I mean, like I said, for me, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have to stay healthy. That's the key thing. If
Exactly.
they can stay healthy and they can be and they can win in the trenches, because all these games are won in the trenches.
Hmm.
I don't expect them to be a big passing team this year, if that's crazy to say. I expect them to really rely more on this three-headed monster of a running back that they have with Bucky Irving, Rashad White, and Sean Tucker. I think we're going to see a little bit more of Sean Tucker. I think we're going to see Rashad White more of a pass blocking running back
Yeah.
here because they need to reassure that left side. I mean, if losing Tristan Wirfs is huge, in my opinion, and especially week 1 against the Atlanta Falcons. I keep saying this. That's a must-win game for me right out the gate. I don't think we could fall behind in the division right away, especially to Atlanta, especially with Carolina getting a lot better, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Carolina
Yeah.
showed a lot of fight.
I think Carolina will end up being third in the division, but they were a promising team with Bryce
Yeah.
Young and Dave Canales. The Saints, I think they're going to come in fourth.
Yeah.
Falcons and Bucs obviously competing for one, but I think the Buccaneers will edge them over. The Falcons, they drafted 2 first-round edge rushers.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, man. So it's going to be week 1. Charlie Heck is going to have his hands full. Now,
Yeah.
edge rushers take a bit of a time to develop, of course, but you know, man, when you go from Tristan Wirfs, the best offensive attack in the league, to Charlie Heck,
Yeah.
that's a huge drop off, man. We remember when last year Luka Decky was out on the right side. We go against the Lions. What, Aiden Hutchinson had like
6
5
sacks.
sacks in one game, 6 sacks. Yeah,
6.
man,
Yeah.
it was insane. My only thing with Tristan Wirfs being out, you know, with the pass game, you can do short passes, you know, get the ball out
Right.
quickly, Baker Mayfield's hand. But with you know, and I'm not a big fan of Charlie Heck. He's gonna probably be in there, but he's a big guy. If you watch his film, and Real Bucks Fan did like an incredible job doing the film breakdown for Charlie Heck. So you guys should go check that out. But he's a very big guy, but he doesn't use his strength properly, man. He
No.
just kind of gets in the way and he gets pushed over. There's a play where he gets like thrown to the ground.
I
He
think his
just kind of
last
like puts his
game
body there.
Yeah, his last game, he had, like I think he gave up, what, 4.5 sacks? I think it was 4
Horrible.
sacks his last game
There's a
that he
reason he's
played.
been at 4 teams already in his league, you know,
Yeah.
in his career. Yeah, man. But I don't know where we're heading next, but I do want to talk about the young wide receivers on this team.
Actually,
Okay.
you took it. You see, you got to come on the show more. You already read my mind. So I wanted to ask you, and I have this little clip I wanted to play. You think Emeka Ibuka could win Rookie of the Year? Because I kind of do FanDuel a little bit. I give myself a little bit of an allowance. I do like $500 for the year, for the season.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's all I'm gonna do. And
Mhm.
I place little wagers here and there. And when that runs out, I'm done.
Yeah, you're right.
Last year I won I won a little bit of money. I was happy with that. But I feel like I'm gonna put a little bit of money down on him winning Rookie of the Year just because of how this kid catches the football, the catches he's
He catches
making.
everything. He
That's
catches
what I'm
everything.
saying. This kid is pro ready. And
He has natural hands, man. Everything you throw at this guy, he's gonna catch it.
and
You know, I'll
go
leave you
ahead.
there.
No, you
Go
go ahead, man. You're good.
He reminds me of, and he's taken his role. He reminds me of Chris Godwin already. You know, like Chris Godwin, he's not a flashy player, man, but he does all the gritty work. He's been in the Buccaneers have been having Jalen McMillan and Mike Evans on the outside, and they've been putting Emeka Ibuka in that slot role. And he's doing a lot of like crossing routes, drags, those type of things, short to medium routes. Nothing really deep right now, but he's a guy who's really impressed me. But he's not even the most impressive rookie on the wide receiver, in my opinion, right now, like in training camp so far, who really stood out to me. But Emeka Ibuka has looked really, really good out there, man. I'm excited to see. I think he can be, honestly, and I predicted this too, the offensive rookie of the year. I think he can be offensive rookie of the year. You think about quarterbacks, you know, most of the time it goes to quarterbacks. Cam Ward's really the only real starting quarterback from this draft class
Right.
who's going to get a chance to start day number 1. So it's really like Emeka Ibuka versus Cam Ward versus somebody else who just comes out of nowhere and, you know, really steals the
Right.
show if that. But I think Emeka Ibuka is going to be, when it's all said and done, the best wide receiver from this draft class. And he's so smart. He actually has, he talked about this, he has Chris Godwin over his shoulder being his mentor. So he's taken this Chris Godwin role, and then Chris Godwin's helping him out. Everything, any question he has, whether it's about football or personal life, he's been right there on his side, helping him out, talking to him, making sure he's ready. And think about how many targets Chris Godwin gets when he's on the field in that Chris Godwin role in the slot position. And he's already building trust with Baker Mayfield early on because he's catching everything. There's a day in training camp, I can't remember if it was day 2 or 3, but he got like 10 receptions, man, and caught all of them, man. He's looking really, really, really nice. I posted some of those clips on X. Like, he has one on the sideline. Everything he does looks really nice right now. Running crisp routes, he's smart. The Buccaneers talked about he can play all 3 wide receiver positions already. He already understands, the bulk of the playbook. This is a very smart guy, man. And you talked about David Walker having high character earlier. This is the type of player that the Buccaneers draft. They bring in that guy, like they say, that's their mantra. And he's just such a high character guy. He's a guy who's going to be a Buccaneer for life, I believe, man. He's when Chris Godwin retires,
I get that same vibe about him too.
Yeah,
same thing. He's just that guy. Yeah. He's one of those guys. When they drafted him, I was kind of confused. I thought they were going to go defensive side of the ball first. Everybody did, if you guys out there who said, no, I knew they were going to, no, you didn't. Like, I heard of that from a lot of people after, and a lot of people didn't like the pick. And I said, you could see my reaction during the live stream. And then I'm like, let me dig back into him. And then I started doing the research while we were doing a live draft episode. And I'm like, okay. All right, now I'm starting to understand. And then a couple of days go by, and I'm digging deeper into like everything about this kid. I'm like, this kid is another version of Chris Godwin. He can catch everything. He's extremely intelligent when it comes to his routes. He can run anything. And not only that, Mike Evans took the words right out of my mouth. When he catches the ball, he's like a running back. He's like Chris Godwin. It's insane. It's I'm so excited to see the upside for this kid because I know he's going to have a good season. I know he's going to get a lot of targets early. I'm predicting him to have at least a touchdown and over 80 yards receiving in the first game against the Atlanta Falcons because I don't think the Atlanta Falcons are going to know what hit him with Emeka Egbuka, and I don't think a lot of teams are going to know. This kid is the real deal. I wanted to play a quick clip here from Baker Mayfield and what he had to say about Emeka Egbuka.
And then you throw in the extra guys that we have now. Emeka Egbuka is an absolute stud, and I said that. And he's like a young Chris Godwin. You can play him at any receiver spot. He's going to know what to do. He's going to do the dirty work for you. But he also has the capability as a true franchise receiver, and that's a lot of weapons. And then we have all the guys that were thrown in the fire last year due to injuries. And so there's a lot of experience, a lot of competition in that room that's going to drive everybody to be better.
Baker, I love that. It's just everybody's ranting and raving about Emeka Egbuka. I know there's somebody. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm gonna put like $50 on him to win Rookie of the Year. Because I think he's gonna have a big year. I think he's gonna be like Bucky Irvin, like how Bucky Irvin came in instantly and just started boom, 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 like flashy plays and like really coming up big. The last Buccaneer to win Rookie of the Year wasn't Michael Clayton. I think it was Cadillac Williams. I want to say
I was a kid.
yeah, it was Cadillac. It was Cadillac Williams, man. He was the last one to win Rookie of the Year for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I know you said that he's not the one that really stood out to you. Who's
the flashiest? He's not the flashiest. He's consistent. Like we said, he's Chris Godwin 2.0. He catches everything. But the flashiest is actually the 7th round pick. I don't think he's going to produce much on offense because of how stacked this room is, but he has really good potential. Tez Johnson, man. I've made this comment. He is Bucky Irving at the wide receiver position. It's really fitting that they're both from Oregon and they're best friends. You look at him out there, man. He impressed everybody. He's like one of the fan. Shiloh's one of the fan favorites, but Tez Johnson also is one of the fan favorites. You give him the ball and what he can do. So I think Josh Grizzard's going to use him as like a gadget player on this offense, and Swiss Army knife. And as he's going to be the lead punt returner, I believe. Also, he's competing right now with Emeka Egbuka, Trey Palmer, Cameron Johnson's competing, Raheem Jarrett for that punt return position. But he's going to be the guy who wins. He had one who he basically almost took to the house in practice of day 3, man. But you give him the ball, and he's so shifty. He's moving around. He's so hard to catch.
Smallest guy on the field, man.
Smallest guy, but the shiftiest and quick. Now, he ran a 4.51 40, but he doesn't play like that, man. No. His football speed is so quick. He just bounces around. He's like a Madden character. 99 on the speed and acceleration. He's just bouncing around, man.
That's crazy.
He's a guy who I'm really excited to watch. Yet he's not going to produce much on offense overall. But because you have Chris Godwin when he comes back, Mike Evans, Emeka Egbuka, Jalen McMillan. But he's going to be a guy who definitely makes this team and definitely makes an impact primarily on special teams year one, and as a Swiss Army knife, as you said, and Josh Grizzard's offense, like end arounds and stuff like that.
Yeah, I said
they ran a screen with him also that he took, like 20 plus yards, man. It was just a little quick screen behind, and he just shifted all the way to 20 yards down the field. And Shiloh Sanders was the one who was going to lay the hit on him. You're talking about him laying hits. If this was a real game, he would have knocked him out. He's like 145, 150, 165, something like that. But yeah, man, Tej Johnson, watch out for him in preseason. He's going to turn a lot of heads, man. He's a guy who I'm really excited to see on this team.
Yeah, I was really excited when they picked him up with the seventh round pick, just because he's shifty, like you said, and for many, many, many seasons, I've been a part of 31 of them out of 50. The kick returns, we're lacking that. The punt returns, we're lacking that. I think this year we're going to see some big stuff coming.
That's changing this year, I think.
Yeah, it's changing, and it's definitely it's exciting, man. This year, I'm very. When Brady first came here, that feeling that a lot of people got, like, hey, this is the year. I don't want to jinx it, but I feel like after this draft class, because I said this draft class is going to determine where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to go, in my opinion, because again, like we talked about early on in the episode, and if you guys missed any of this episode, you guys can go back and listen to it on YouTube. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, if you can't listen to the whole show, you can take me to go on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio. It's all there. But I was excited when they drafted him because this is a kid who can really put up points, in my opinion. He's somebody that's a home run hitter for me. Like, if we're down by 4 points or 3 points, whatever the case may be, and then we're getting a kick return easily, boom, 6 points. Those things make a huge difference in a game, or even to start a game, like the opening kickoff, to go up 6
field
points.
Advantage, yeah, with giving the ball, man. Just give Tej Johnson the ball and just watch what he does. He's gonna produce something for you, man. Special teams, or if you're using him again as a gadget player, he's gonna produce, man. He looks really good out there, man. I'm excited to see him. He truly, for a 7th round pick, he's gonna make an impact more than a 7th round pick should make. So that's just also a credit to Jason Light and his whole front office team. They know how to draft. Just look at all the players. They keep their own also. They know how to draft it. There's one specialty for Jason Light, obviously. He struggled early on with some of the free agent signings. You remember, like, Otteron Werner. What was the offensive lineman from Anthony Collins?
Yeah.
From the Bengals, Michael Johnson.
But you had
that.
You Roberto Aguayo with the second.
Oh, yeah.
Who else was there? Robert Ayers. He's actually a coach for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers now, which is cool to see. Yeah, those are some dark times, man. I don't want to relive those times, man. Those are some rough times. But yeah, like I was saying, like, to me this year's team, man, really reminds me of that. I'm getting that feeling back of 2000, 2001, that time, because there's so much talent, there's so much depth, and as long as they stay healthy, I got to ask you too, who's dominating training camp right now? That's somebody, like, to the audience, like, where you're just kind of like, all right, man, this kid's going to be something special. Outside of the Tez, outside of Emeka, who else is somebody, who else is, like, you think, in your opinion, is dominating that's really going to make a name for themselves? Or who's having a really good camp? I know it's a tough question because everybody looks good. But, who's just somebody that really stands out to you?
I'm glad you asked that question because I want to talk about Devin Cope. He looks like he's going to take that next step forward, man.
I've been calling it, man.
This whole conversation, I've forgotten about Devin Cope and how good he looked out there. He looks quicker out there. He's running better routes out there. He's catching. He's making nice plays. Devin Cope, I think he's going to have a sneaky good year, man, as like a tight end 2, tight end 3, But
he came on pretty good last year. When he needed to step up, when guys were down, Kate Otten was down. It was just him and Payne Durham. He really stepped up, and nobody was talking about him. And I'm like, why isn't anybody talking about Cope? Like, this kid, he looks good. He's got the physique. He's got the build. And who he reminds me of? He reminds me a lot of what we wanted Austin Seferian-Jenkins to be. We wanted O.J. Howard to be.
O.J. Howard, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Man, I thought O.J. Howard was going to be amazing as a tight end. Like, the next Greg Olsen was a comparison. But Devin Cope, he's a fast guy. I think Baker Mayfield said he's the athletic tight end in the room. He ran a 4.47 40 time. He's very quick out there. He's a mixed match for linebackers. You're gonna have to put a safety on him. Man, he's a guy who I think nobody's talking about him. but he's going to take that next step forward in year 2, and he's going to impress a lot of people this year. I truly believe that. So he's for me, he's not dominating in camp, but he's looking promising. He's looking really good, and I like his trajectory right now. I would buy Devin Cope stock.
Yeah, me too. Like I said, I've been talking about him since he first really got not the full-time role, but when he had to fill some shoes, he stepped up in a major way. Him and Payne Durham as well. Cade Otton is a guy that I think is this year. I think he's really going to take another step, because I'm going to ask you, do you think they should re-sign him? Like, if he had, like, because a lot of people are kind of on the fence about him, and I don't seem to understand why. Just because for me, he's a tough tight end. He's improved his pass blocking. He's reliable. I mean, I get it. Sometimes he gets banged up, but who doesn't? But for me, he played a big factor in keeping the Tampa Bay Buccaneers alive throughout last season, making some clutch catches.
When Godwin went down, especially, he took a step up. But yeah, Cade Otton is a guy who I do believe the Buccaneers should sign. I like him. He's like, for me, he's like Mr. Reliable, man. He goes out there. He's like Baker said, he's not flashy. He doesn't wear gloves or anything. He's just out there bare hands, catching what you throw at him. He has natural hands, but real old school right there. But Josh Capo of Pewter Report, he projects. He's a cap guy for Pewter Report, and he projects the contracts. So Jake Ferguson of the Dallas Cowboys just signed his 4-year, $52 million deal. Josh Capo predicted that was going to be his exact contract. So he got it on the point, 4 years, $52 million. So he was exactly on point. He had also Cade Otton making that exact same amount, 4 years, $52 million. So if the Buccaneers do re-sign him, which I think they're going to do, that would likely be the exact same contract. If you look at their stats, their receiving yards, their touchdowns, everything's basically almost identical between Cade Otton and Jake Ferguson. He's a guy who, he's not flashy in any way. Like you said, old school, doesn't wear gloves at all. But he's a guy who's consistent. You can rely on him. He's dependable. Like you said, getting better at blocking also. I saw him, working to the side, just, working with his coaches, just personal, working, like just trying to get better. He's a guy who he's in his contract year. I don't think he's one of those guys like, he'll play for anything, I feel like, but he's just out there. He's trying to get better at his craft. And I think you're going to see a bit of a step forward. And I don't think you're going to see it in terms of like receiving yards or touchdowns in terms of like a big leap forward, because there's so many players on this offense that there's only one ball to go around. But I think you see his overall skills, his blocking skills, his route running, his catching, everything about Cade Otton is going to take a step forward, I believe, in 2025.
Yeah, he's going to be a guy that his production won't show up on stat sheets, but his production is definitely there. Like I said, man, I'm very excited for the start of this season. I got that same feeling that I got a couple of years ago when they won the Super Bowl. There's nothing really holding this team back outside of injuries, especially with this division. I got to ask you, I got a couple more questions to ask you with the state of the South. How you feeling about, I know we talked about the NFC South a little bit. I like to do this little segment that's actually going to turn into a full-time show. It's actually going to be quite interesting. I'm going to have a Bucs fan, which is going to be myself. I'm going to have a Falcons fan, a Carolina Panthers fan, and a New Orleans Saints fan, all on a round table. Yeah. I was actually thinking about picking a Bucs fan because I don't know if I can do it, just because of the fact that I kind of get too fiery defending the team.
Oh, that's good content right there.
Man, I tend to get a little, not crazy. I come with the facts. You know what I'm saying? Again, I'm a football realist, and like if I know something's off by the Bucs, I'll call it out. I'm not afraid of it. But state of the South. How do you feel about this division? Because it is getting better, in my opinion. It is improving. And I hate the cliche when people say, oh, the Bucs, they just play in a very easy division. That's not true. No division's easy. You have bad teams in there? Yeah, but division games are some of the toughest games you have to win. Bringing it back to the New England Patriots, who's that one team? Even though they were fantastic, they were always winning the division. Who was the one team that always gave them a problem? It was the Miami Dolphins, and they were the shittiest team in the division. You always have that one team. For a long time, it was the Carolina Panthers. Obviously, what Dave Canales is doing, I think he did fantastic this year. As much as I hate to say, because it's the Carolina Panthers, they're doing fantastic things. Not to put bad juju out there, man, but that could be a spot where Rachaad White could land. Dave Canales loved Rachaad White. Also, Jacksonville with, Liam Cohen. I still say he's going to be a Buccaneer. You got to pay that guy and find a way to keep him here somehow, some way. But you're not going to pay 2 running backs because you got Bucky as well. That's eventually that contract's going to come up.
Yeah.
But What scares me about the Carolina Panthers is that they're getting better. The Falcons are good. We can't take that away. They hung up 2 wins on us last year. They weren't the better team in my opinion, but they're still very talented. What scares me the most about the state of the South is that we have Atlanta week 1. We're already going in there hurt. That's a concern for me. That's a must-win game right off the rip. And then the last 3 weeks of the season, you play Carolina twice.
Oh yeah.
That's a wild card in my opinion. That to me, there could be some big implications there, depending on how the Tampa Bay Buccaneers weather the storm. I still think we're the best team in the division. I still think we have the most talented roster. Atlanta not too far behind. They have a hell of an offense, in my opinion, and they just loaded up on defense as well. What's your take on the state of the South? How are you feeling about it?
So we talked about it a little bit, but the Panthers are the team that I think, are going to have that potential. Give it not next year, not this year, but give it like a few more years down the line. I think they're a team that's going to, they're going to give the Buccaneers a trouble. And I think, no matter how bad your division is, like you were saying, all these games are tough because of the fact that they know you and you know them. So this is, the Panthers could be 3-10, man, and it's still going to be a tough game.
They gave us a run for our money last year, and the year before that.
Exactly.
We had a tough time against them. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, guys, I'm not saying this to be like a negative Nancy, but it's the truth. Go back and watch the film. There was times where I was watching those games against the Panthers. I'm like, why are we behind right now? Like, we are the better. It's just something about divisional games. It's just the way it is.
The Buccaneers, they'll keep their top spot right now. And I think that if they keep their core nucleus, which they likely are, they're going to be the top team in NFC South for a few years to come. And I know the Buccaneers want to extend Baker Mayfield. They just gave him today his contract next year in 2026 wasn't going to be guaranteed. About $30 million. I think he's going to be around making $40 million next year or something like that is guaranteed. So he got most of his contract for next year guaranteed.
Steal too.
Yeah. At $30 million, when you got guys like Brock Purdy making 53, Jordan Love making 53, that is an absolute steal.
And they're not scrambling out of the backfield neither, and stiff arming Joey Bosa and stuff like that. Yeah, they're not doing that.
Play. No, man. Yeah. But the Falcons are going to be a team that obviously this year they're going to give the Buccaneers a run for their money. And hopefully every year the Buccaneers kind of go like a midseason low. They just kind of dip down, and that gives all the other teams, a shot to kind of stay up there with the Buccaneers. That's going to come down to overall, this whole division is going to come down to whether the Buccaneers can stay healthy. We've talked about this quite a lot on this show already, but the Buccaneers need to stay healthy. That is the one thing that's going to stop them. This team is so talented on both sides of the field. And if they could just stay healthy, and the Atlanta Falcons, Panthers, Saints, nobody can keep up with the Buccaneers if they are fully healthy. This is their division to keep. But the Saints are not going to do anything this year. I don't believe so.
Are they even not? It seems this is, again, when you have that's why I say ownership and GMs are so important. Look at the state that they're in. They're always over the salary cap. It was what, 80 million this year?
Every year.
Just horrible. They got big issues over there. I mean, even next year, I think they're gonna just start to really try to do ways with those contracts. They're gonna have to take some cap hits, unfortunately. But you know what? I love watching it. You guys can come out with all the stupid uniforms you can come out with. It does not.
Oh, they
matter.
look so bad. They look those gold ones look horrible.
Yeah. While I got you on there, I got 3 more questions for you, and then we're gonna wrap this up because I know your time's valuable. I threw this idea out there while we're on the jersey talk. The NFL is doing this thing now. Rivalries. Are you familiar with it?
Oh, so I haven't seen exactly, but I know they're taking like 1 division or 2 divisions, and they're going to do some like special jerseys. Exactly. I don't know. Like, obviously, nobody knows exactly what they're going to look like, but I'm familiar with like what they're doing. They're going to do like some special jersey for those rivalry games.
So I've been throwing the idea, and a lot of people like it. A lot of people don't like it. With the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, for primetime purposes only, because we have not been very good on primetime, in my opinion. It's scary to watch, and I tend to stay. Anytime I put like a little parlay together, I kind of stay away from the Buccaneers in primetime. I said, when they came out with the creamsicle jerseys, I was like, all right, cool. Our history's back, but we've had 4 winning seasons with the creamsicle jerseys. When they brought back the white creamsicle jerseys, I was okay with that. I would like to see this team have another alternate jersey. in my opinion. I know they got the pewter ones. They don't really wear the pewter ones. And this has been like a 50-50 thing, so I'd like to get your opinion. I'd like to see a black alternate jersey, not just any type of black alternate jersey. I'd like to see like maybe a black jersey with the same pewter helmets, same pewter pants, maybe a black stripe going down with pewter numbers and maybe a red outline. I think it would look pretty cool. I think like on those games, like I know they do like the red outs. I think a black uniform. I know everybody in the NFC South has a black uniform, but I think the Buccaneers playing on primetime, they look fierce. It's the Buccaneers, man. What do you think? Are you opposed to a black uniform?
Yeah, I like the pewter ones. I think those look nice. I don't know why they don't wear them more. But like, will the pants be black or pewter?
Pewter, same
Pewter?
style. Nothing changes. The only thing that would change is the striping on the pants to match the numbers. So it'd be the same helmet, same pants. They would wear pewter socks or black socks, and the striping on the side you can do, like I said, you can do black and red, and then the numbers you can do a black number. I mean, a pewter number with like a red outline, if you will. Even the pewter uniforms that they have now, I would like to see them kind of swap
I like
out.
them. Yeah.
I like those, but
Yeah.
the red and white, like the numbers, like I'm not really. I think they can do something different with the numbers. I think if they put the number black with the red outline, I think that'd look nice. I don't know. I'm just at this point. I'm just talking shit. A lot of
I
people
think
don't like the idea, but I think it's time.
I think I've seen an edit where they're like, you know how you see on social media just people making alternative uniforms. I've seen one with a black shirt, like a black top, and the number was, I believe, white, and then you had the red outline, and it looked pretty nice. It looked pretty sleek. So
they actually released those. That was an actual release. It was just after they won the Super Bowl. Because I remember I went to Dick's Sporting Goods. I went to go grab something. And then I seen Buccaneer jerseys in Massachusetts. Very strange. Yeah, you should have seen it when Brady. I'll save those stories for another time. I was arguing with people. People were coming up to me saying, "Oh," because I used to wear an old Bucko Bruce hat down at this place we used to go to in the summertime. It's like a little bar on the water and stuff like that. It's a fun place. And then this is when Brady first came to the Bucs. The guy's like, "Yeah, Buccaneers." Da, da, da. I'm like, "Oh, you're a fan?" He's like, "No, I'm a Patriots fan, but I'm not a Patriots fan anymore. I'm a Bucs fan." And I'm like, "That's stupid." He's like, "Why?" It's like, "I can't be a Bucs fan." I'm like, "No, dude." I'm like, "You can't be a Bucs fan. Like you haven't lived through Sean King, those disappointments. You haven't lived through the Jameis Winston era. You haven't lived through the early 90s.
Mike Glennon, the Josh
Glennon,
Josh
yeah, like Josh Johnson, like that era, man. No, you can't be a Bucs fan. Take your losing. I'm like, "How old are you?" He's like, "Oh, I think he said he was like 23." I'm like, "Dude, all you've ever known was winning with the Patriots. So just take your first losing season. It is what it is."
You know, I'm a loyal man because I stuck around with the Buccaneers through all those losing seasons.
I'm watching this team win 6 championships, man. It seems like every other year they're always in the playoffs, and I'm sitting here, and that's the funny part because I used to wear a Mike Evans jersey. I used to wear, different types of jerseys. Gerald McCoy, nobody would say a word. And then Brady came, and it was just like everybody's a Buccaneers fan. All of a sudden, I'm just like, I don't know if I like this. But the rest is history.
But I remember when I was in high school, some of the games would be blackout. Like you wouldn't be able to see them on TV, so I had to listen to them on the radio because not enough fans even went to the stadium. So, those were the bad seasons where I'm listening to the radio like this is like the 1960s and just listening, trying to pick up on things.
It was tough times. When I was a kid, like I said, because I'm 37 years old, when I was younger in the early 90s, 95 is when I became a Bucs fan because growing up, like I said, we weren't rich, we weren't like wealthy, like cable wasn't really a thing. Like we had like whatever, like we had the antennas type of deal. Whatever you caught on the TV is what you caught. And at the time it was the Seminoles and the Hurricanes. And I remember Sapp and Brooks, but Brooks used to fly around the field, number 10. And I was like, "Oh, I really like him. I really like Derek Brooks." And they both got drafted to the Buccaneers in 95. And that's how I became a Bucs fan. I actually used to rob the next door neighbor's paper because he used to get the thick Sunday paper, and I used to have all the statistics in it, and that's how I would follow with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And as I got older, the internet, but I could never watch the games; they were blacked out. But on those Sundays, occasionally when they started to get really good, like in the 2000s, like that's when the games would come on, and I would catch them. I remember them and the Lions when it was the NFC Central. Used to catch those games a lot. and I was happy, man. But then we had a rough patch where we just went downhill. Like it was rough being a Bucs fan. A lot of people don't understand that. I gotta ask you before you go. I do this to every new guest that comes on the show. What's one pair of sneakers that if you had to wear them for the rest of your life, you could not choose another pair of sneakers? What would be the one pair of sneakers that you wear? For me, I tell this to everybody. It's the cement threes. Those are my favorite. Those are my go-tos. Those are my all-time favorites. So if I had to wear those, and I feel like those can kind of go with a lot of things, so I'd be all right with that. What's the only pair of shoes that you'd have to wear?
So I'm not a sneakerhead at all.
Okay.
I just wear like some dad shoes.
All right, man. There ain't nothing wrong
I'm a
with
new
that.
dad. I just wear some dad shoes. It's already fitting. I just like the what's it called? Not the Doc Martens. I forgot what they're called, but like the leather boots up. They're just comfortable. I just
Oh
wear
yeah,
them.
I got plenty of pairs of those, man.
Yeah,
I
man.
love
I'm
those.
not a big sneakerhead, but I was when I was a bit younger. Had a few Jordans, a few Nikes, but as I've gotten older, it's just like does this feel comfortable? I'm gonna wear this. That's it for me.
I hear you, brother. I hear you.
Comfort.
Next question. This is a good one. What's the most embarrassing song right now that you have on your iPhone or your Android? What's the most embarrassing song where people looked at it like they'd look at you like, what?
It's embarrassing. I don't really have like a most embarrassing song,
There's
but
got to
I
be an
love to listen
embarrassing song in
to.
there,
I
man.
just love to listen to like old country music, like
Okay.
Poncho and Lefty with Willie Nelson, Merle Haggard, Johnny Cash,
That's
Jim
my guy right
Croce.
there.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm pretty the Highwaymen with like Johnny Cash and Willie Nelson on the same crew.
So you
Waylon
like a lot of
Jennings,
like outlaw country? That-
Marty Robbins, all that stuff. That's kind of what I listen to. So really nothing embarrassing or anything, but that's what I like to listen to. There's a new band I like also. They're like an indie band. It's called the Red Clay Strays.
Okay.
I like some of their music. They're pretty good. But overall, I listen to old country western music. That's my favorite genre. Always has been.
Nice. So for me, like I said, I listen to all genres of music. I can drive down to work listening to Johnny Cash, and then the next day I'm listening to Easy E. And then I can go from Easy E to Avenged Sevenfold, Slipknot, or what. I love music in general. Uh, I don't like I said, I agree. I like to ask the question because people like they kind of like get all nervous when asking when they have to answer the question. I mean, I don't really have an embarrass. I mean, I have TLC. I jam out to TLC. Uh, you know, but as far as embarrassing, yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. Like Aaliyah and stuff like that. I'll sing One in a Million in the truck. I don't care, man. I guess you could say it's embarrassing. But yeah, yeah, that's yeah, I would say that's pretty much it. But if you like country music like that, a name I can recommend to you, I actually got the privilege of seeing her perform live, is Nikki Lane. She's that old school, like outlaw country. We actually just came back from Nashville, Tennessee. I wouldn't, yeah, I wouldn't really recommend going there unless you are a big drinker. Yeah, there's
Okay,
nothing
yeah,
to
I
do.
don't drink. Yeah.
Yeah, there's really nothing to do. Nashville's Broadway is pretty cool. It's like I call it. It kind of looks like Las Vegas, but it's just bars and nightclubs. Like we ate at Kid Rock's bar and stuff like that, and a few other places. But I mean, like I said, it's nice. I got to see the new two. Yeah, you're going out. Your sound. Nope, nothing. No, those AirPods, man. No, you're good, dude. You know what? Like I said, we'll just wrap it up now. Go ahead, try it. Like, see if you can get your audio going. But yeah, man, like I said, if you get a chance, check out the Nikki Lane. Check out Morgan Wallen's really good. I don't know if you're a fan of Morgan Wallen. Morgan Wallen's good. I just started getting into Morgan Wallen. Uh, there's a lot of good country. Chris Stapleton, he's my favorite. Like that dude can perform. He's very good. I like him a lot. Even Kid Rock. A lot of people would say that Kid Rock's not really country. Uh, I don't know
Can you hear
why.
me?
Yeah, I could hear you. He's got a lot of good
Okay.
country music, in my opinion. But yeah, man. Definitely check out Nikki Lane. Nikki Lane is she, to me, like that's outlaw country in my opinion, and she doesn't get enough credit.
I'll check her out. Nikki Lane.
Yeah, Nikki Lane or Nikki Lane Band right on iMusic or whatever you listen to your music, whatever you got at Spotify. But that's pretty much it, man. Daniel, let everybody know where they can find you. Promote yourself. It's an open platform
Man,
for you. I
wanna
feel like
plug
more
in again.
people
I
need
just
to
wanna
follow
say
you.
thank you again for having me on this podcast, man. I truly appreciate you having me on. This is the first podcast collaboration I've done. So I'm just really I don't want to plug anything. Just thankful, man. Thank you, Louis, for having me on. I truly appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I look forward to seeing you come back on, watching your journey
definitely.
throughout camp, and like I said, you got an open mic night every time. Anytime we go live, you're always more than welcome to come on the show, man. Like I said, I
it, man. Great
appreciate
time
it.
here. This is a great first experience, man. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
man. Like I said, we usually have some really cool guests coming on. Like I said, sometimes we get some guys to come in here. My co-host Jamie, he's very informative about a lot of stuff. That's a good conversation in itself. I'm trying to get Seneca Wallace to come back on, to get his perspective on what he would do if he was Baker Mayfield with the situation. But yeah, we'll see what happens. And then if I can get him on here, we'll get you on here too, man. Like I said, I appreciate you coming on. As always, guys, thank you, Buccaneers Nation, for tuning in here to the Frozen Pirate Podcast. We appreciate you. Like I said, make sure you tune in later on this week. I got another episode coming up. We're going to give the details for the free jersey giveaway. We already gave one away. We're going to do another one this year. Any jersey you want. It's unfortunate. I don't know if you checked out the jerseys, but me and Sammer were having a conversation about
the
that.
screen print. Yeah.
Come on, man. Bullshit.
No,
All right, Bucs Nation, as always, peace. Treat each other well and fire those cannons. Let's go, Bucs.